do have a cell phone, if you can put it in the silent mode. You know, if I know if I can find mine here. Okay, that taken care of. If we can all stand, we'll do our pledge. Mr. Tony Hicks, would you lead us, please?
Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We got some housekeeping to do on some of the minutes from the past.
Yeah, so we have 2 minutes, one from October 2021, and December 15th. Looking through the roster, we do not have a quorum for October 20th, so would respectfully have that continued for the next meeting, and then so the Plan Commission would vote on the December 15th minutes.
Okay. So we,
October 20th and December 15th.
yeah, October 20th and December 15th. So get a motion.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that, testing, here we go. I'll make a motion that we accept the December 15th minutes and postpone the December 20th until we have a quorum. October 20th until we have a quorum.
Okay, all those in favor of the motion? All except for Lloyd and Aaron were not present.
Second, who seconded that?
I'll second.
There you go.
Thank you, Tony. We have a motion and a second now. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now we move to the October 20th meeting. Can we get them?
That was part of the motion that we postpone that until we have a quorum, so.
On the 20th?
The October 20th, we would need Richard Bett to be present for enough votes on that particular one. So
Okay, so putting that on hold
Yep.
again. Okay. With that, shall we just move right on into our first item? And that is case number 21-164.
Mr. Chair,
Special use permit.
I think there's some items at the top of the agenda that we didn't look at yet. Public comment, roll call.
What's that?
Roll call?
Oh, geez. Okay, let's go back. Can I get a roll call?
Sorry. Commissioner Wolf.
Present.
Commissioner Rexstad. Commissioner Hicks.
Here.
Commissioner Brzee.
Present?
Commissioner Beck. Vice Chair Markarian.
Present.
And Chair Algauer.
Here.
And then the next item is the public comment for items not on the agenda, and we have not received any slips for that item.
Are we on item, I have, here, item number 2.
We're on this one.
Oh, I see. Okay, so let's just move. Have we got any public comments at all?
No
None?
public comments.
Okay, then we did the consent agenda with the minutes. We're good there. So now we go into our first item, is number 2 on the agenda. What am I doing?
You're looking at the minutes.
I got the wrong one here. Okay, item number 3 is that special use. I got it here. Okay, it's the special use permit and architectural review. Am I correct? And who's handling that? Okay. Well, I ain't got it together, so I.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman Algauer. The applicant has submitted case number 21-164 for a special use permit and architectural review of a 31-foot tall, 4,823 square foot detached structure. The structure will include a 747 square foot accessory dwelling unit, a 3,066 square foot garage, and a 1,010 square foot second story game room located above the garage on a residentially zoned property at 35908 Leona Street. So some site location history is the site is located on the north side of Liana Street with RL1 rural living zoning with a 1 acre minimum lot size. It's also located within the custom home overlay district and is surrounded by other single family residential developments. So the site was a previously vacant parcel and a new single-family residence is actually under construction right now, which is consistent with the rural living land use designation and custom home overlay district standards. So the home has been designed according to the minimum square footage of a single-family residence in the custom home overlay of 2,200 square feet, and setbacks are also met. The detached garage affiliated with this special use permit will not be able to receive a certificate of occupancy until this construction of the home has been completed. The site plan is presented on the screen right now. As I indicated, there's a single family residence currently under construction, and that's for a 5,871 square foot home. It will include 4,083 square feet of habitable living space, 1,122 square feet of garage area, 460 square feet of patio areas, and a 206 square foot porch. The proposed 4,823 foot detached structure will be located 20 feet behind the single family residence on the northeastern corner of the property. A driveway off of Liana Street will provide access to the unit, and its proposed structure fits within all setbacks. The floor plan is before you on the screen, and as I mentioned, will include 3,066 square feet of garage area, and then the 1,010 square foot second story game room will be located above that garage space. Additionally, on the bottom floor, there will be a 747 square foot one-story ADU connected to the garage. However, it will have its own access point and won't be able to enter the other spaces, and is consistent with state legislation for ministerial approval of ADUs. The elevations are before you on the screen for the single family residence that is currently under construction. The peak height of the structure is 24 feet, and colors and materials of this single family residence will match the detached structure affiliated with this special use permit today. So the detached garage, ADU, and game room elevations are before you. The maximum height is 31 feet at peak height, and the structure will primarily consist of stucco material in the color La Habra. It will have a tile roof and stone veneer detailing along the base of the structure. Additionally, shutters will be provided around key windows for some accents. And to me, the most primary architectural feature on the structure are 3 dormer accents proposed along the front elevation, which really will enhance the farmhouse style of the unit. Additionally, there will be 2 12-foot by 14-foot panel garage doors provided along the front elevation for larger RV and personal vehicles to enter the garage. Here's a photo of the site showing the construction that's currently taking place on the property. Additionally, another angle. And project notices were sent to surrounding property owners contiguous to the site as per special use permit procedures. 2 responses were received that did express concern over loss of views of the San Bernardino Mountains from their properties, as well as the large size of the proposed attached accessory structure in single-family residence. However, I will note that the Yucaipa General Plan and Development Code doesn't protect any private property views in the city, and additionally, these structures are permitted as by right uses within the zoning designation, and also fit the development code standards for lot coverage and a maximum height, which would be 35 foot allowable in the custom home overlay and RL1 land use designation zone. So it's staff's recommendation that you adopt findings A through D and approve the project subject to the conditions of approval. The applicant, John Stewart, is here if you have any questions, and he can answer as well.
Okay, with that, does anyone have any questions for staff before we call the applicant up? Okay, could the applicant like to come up?
Where exactly do I go? Right here?
Straight ahead, you got it.
All right, perfect.
State your name and after our address, your address for our record.
Jonathan Stewart. The address is 35908 Leanna Street.
Okay, so tell us about your project a little bit.
Well, it got bigger than I wanted because my wife, my wife don't ever want to move again. So I want the big garage. She wanted the big house, and this is where we landed.
Okay.
We're you know, I've got a fifth wheel that I don't want out in public sight. We have boats, and I'll eventually acquire some cars at some point. And I don't want to have to build another garage later. When I did build this site, I did cut down 11 feet off of that pad to shrink so that I knew I was going to build higher, so I didn't want to obstruct views. Even though there wasn't really any views because there was like 14 cedar trees that were kind of burned up and stuff along that property until the fires came last year. There was like 14 cedars across that whole property line, so you couldn't really see my property to begin with. But I've removed all that, all those dead trees. Again, took into the neighbors' concerns of, hey, let me cut this down a little bit instead of building it up higher. Sacrificed the view that I wanted off of the side deck that you could see on the elevations. That's why I put that side deck there. But I feel it was best. I'll still have a nice view of my pool, but I won't have that view looking over towards the Mentone, San Bernardino area.
Okay, anyone have any questions for the applicant? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
With that, we'll close. We have no public comment, am I correct?
No public comment on this.
Okay, with that, we'll close the public comments, and we'll move to the commissioners. Commissioners, anyone have any issues or questions? Statements? Motions?
Looks like a nice project.
Yeah, it looks very clean to me.
It's very nice. Very nice.
Good luck on that.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're ready for a motion?
Yeah, I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve
There you go.
I'll second.
the short version. Yeah.
Motion to approve item 3.
Yeah. Make sure Ben's okay with that. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None?
I'm gonna
Okay,
come check out that game room one day.
yeah. He can check out the game room. I'm going for the pool. I'm sorry.
Down the street from us. So. Congratulations, man.
Thank you, sir. You're on your own. Next item we have is item 4, is the home occupancy permit for a sound bathroom mediation business, yada, in a residential area. This is, to me, I've never been to where we've ever approved a home occupancy permit. So is this, Ben, is this something that were new for us, or?
So I'll let Maddie do the presentation and we can provide some follow-up on this, but
Okay,
this is normally not application that's approved at the staff level. However, they received some comments, and so we wanted to provide a forum so everyone, so that the approval process or the decision-making process is transparent for all of those that are interested.
okay, Matt, you want to go ahead, please?
And with that, I'll present item number 4, case number 21-141, an HOP for a sound bath meditation business from a single-family residence located at 35488 Balsa Street. On November 30th, 2021, the applicant submitted a home occupation permit to provide sound bath meditation businesses services at their home. And the applicant currently actually provides sound bath meditation classes at the Yucaipa Community Center and operates under the name Choose Happy Vibes and has a City of Yucaipa business license already established. According to the Choose Happy Vibes website, vibrational sound harmonics engage the relaxation reflex, release blocked energy, and bring the body back into alignment. So the purpose of sound bath meditation is to kind of provide a means of inner peace and a meditative calming for those that participate. So the site is located at 35488 Balsa Street, as I indicated, and has an existing single-family residence on the property, a detached garage, and pool is also on the property, and it is located within the RS10M Single Residential Land Use District. It's 10,000 square foot minimum lot size, but this property is about double that, so it's quite large. and is surrounded by other single-family residential properties on all sides. So in terms of processing of this HOP, as standard HOP procedures require from our development code, adjacent property owners contiguous to this site were notified about the application through a standard project notice. And we did receive some responses from neighbors that expressed concerns over a couple of different items, one of them being the frequency and number of visitors to the property, the parking of vehicles associated with the business in front of their private residences, requests for quiet hours during classes, as well as noise caused from sound drums beating outdoors affiliated with the business practice. It also came to staff's attention that there had been previous complaints through the code enforcement department over the operation at the site, and so the applicant was informed to cease business activity and was given information on the HOP application process and procedures for formal approval. Based off of those comments, we did invite the applicant to a meeting on January 6th here at City Hall, and we discussed the neighborhood comments with the applicant that we received, and we're hoping to better understand the desired operational capacity of the site. Pursuant to section 83.010505 of the Development Code, in order to provide an opportunity to adequately discuss the project prior to taking a final action and allow all parties the opportunity to better understand conditions of approval and ultimate site operations, you can kind of take this type of application to the next hearing, to a hearing body, and we are presenting it before you as a public hearing item. The applicant agreed to the additional conditions that addressed these concerns that staff provided at the meeting, and I have them for you to review on the next slide as well. So the conditions of approval that we proposed to add to this standard HOP application were number 2, 4, 5, and 7, which are included in the agenda packet. Number 2 indicated that pedestrian vehicle traffic was to be limited to those normally associated with a residential land use district, and that parking would be required in the driveway of the residence, which there's a photograph provided on the screen. Additionally, the number of clients was not to exceed a maximum of 7 per week. This is inclusive of any activity or events affiliated with the sound bath business, so Monday through Saturday. Additionally, the home occupation is to be confined in an enclosed structure, and no outdoor activities or events would be permitted. And finally, requesting neighborhood accommodations to support the meditation business within the residential land use district is not permissible. So ultimately, kind of all of these added conditions were supposed to help mitigate some neighborhood concerns and also really make sure that the residential land use feel was maintained within the area. So here's a photo of the site. Additionally, another angle. And so it's staff's recommendation that if the request is considered to be acceptable, that HOP number 21-199 is approved subject to the attached conditions of approval.
Okay, thank you very much. Anybody have any for staff before we call the applicant up?
Yes, I have a few questions. My first question is, do we normally give these kind of permits for people to run businesses from their homes that are sound related? I know we have a lot of licenses for people to do businesses from home, but do we have any that are sound related?
So we do have different types of home occupation permits that are issued. Some do have perhaps the potential to create noise. So an example, someone that does does a wood shop kind of activity where they're creating products in their house. And so there is performance requirements in terms of the noise generated to maintain that residential character. And so there may be noise generating uses that are approved with the HOP process, but they would still have to conform to the noise requirements of the development code for those operations.
So that was going to be my follow-up question. Is there an objective standard that we can follow to say, hey, you can make noise, but you can't make them at this time and this time, or this level or that level? Is there some kind of guideline for us to follow?
There is, in terms of the development code provisions, I believe for residential districts, it's 55 decibels dBA, so the average decibel rating. However, as part of some of the concerns with drums beating outdoors is the condition that these meditation activities occur indoors would abate that, since those noise would be generated within the confines of an existing building rather than outdoor, where that noise mitigation is much harder to accomplish.
Okay, so the sound that is gonna be made is within the parameters that we would normally approve for a wood shop at home? All right.
Condition number 10 in the conditions of approval indicates that noise shall not exceed 55 decibels.
Okay. And as far as limiting, how are we going to be able to limit the number of clients shall not exceed a maximum of 7? How is that gonna be enforced? By neighbors telling on their neighbor?
Certainly, if that is the case, as with any home occupation permit process, it does have, as part of granting the HOP approval, that the character of the neighborhood is maintained so that the traffic normally associated with the residents isn't necessarily dramatically increased. And so it would be, yes, under the neighbors, if there is a high influx of people visiting the property that's uncharacteristic of the neighborhood, then they would go through that process, similar to any other home occupation permit that's occurring at a residence.
Right.
Okay, anyone else have?
You know, I read the 4 conditions, same as what Chris was referring to, and I kind of chuckled because I've lived in California long enough to know that when you have regulations, requirements, laws, whatever, guidance, procedure, whatever you want to call them, it seems to me that there are 3 levels of consideration. The first level is it's in the books, and that's not worth anything, but it's there. Second consideration is what they are able to be enforced, and that's what Chris was referring to. How can, you know, I mean, our enforcement people, whether they're code enforcement, law enforcement, they're taxed to the max. And the third level is, I don't really care what it says. I'm going to do whatever I want to do. And that's where we're at as a culture. So I just kind of chuckled at the conditions. I don't think that they would do anything in terms of shaping the level of compliance. I just don't think they would.
Well, and if I may add one more level to that, I think it's gonna encourage people to tell on their neighbors.
And that's a bad
Okay, you know,
Bad neighborhood to be in. Yeah, I mean,
let's hold this thought for a minute. I think we're at that point. I think we need the applicant. Could the applicant step forth? State your name and address for our records. Maybe we can.
hello.
I'm Peg McKnight. Margaret, you can call me Peg. And what do I need to answer here? I'm not clear
So-
as to what I need to do.
You got questions?
Okay,
There she
I have a
is.
question. So have you tried a different location? We have a lot of empty, nice,
Yeah, I work at the community center now.
Right, yeah.
okay, and that's not sufficient?
I want a Saturday. I'm looking for one Saturday a month. They offered one a week, which is wonderful, but I'm looking for one, maybe 2 a month, but that's it. I don't want a whole bunch.
Have you tried the Incubator Center? I hear they have some.
Incubator Center.
Yeah, they have a nice incubator center that the city sponsors. Beautiful building on 5th and Yucaipa Boulevard, center of
Saturday,
town.
yeah?
It used to be the sheriff's station.
And actually, Saturday is great because most of the businesses will not be there. It used to be a jail cell.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm not trying to promote that. I was very happy. I had an office there and I loved it.
Okay.
We are actually not currently taking new tenants for the incubator center at the
Oh, we're not taking them? Okay. So I'm
about-
sure,
yeah, I don't know.
that's good to know. I didn't know that. But there are some other options. If you could get somewhere far away from a very peaceful, quiet neighborhood, especially
Right.
on the weekends. I'm familiar with the neighborhood. I'm down the street from you.
Okay, good.
So I
The neighborhood.
wanted to see if there's another option that you've considered. Have you explored other options?
I did have other places that I worked that are no longer open, so it's a matter of finding a location, you see.
And
I like it at my house, of course, because my toys are there, and I don't have to haul them around with me, you see. As far as monitoring, I understand your position. I don't want neighbors upset. I've sent a letter of apology to all my neighbors if I was upsetting any of them, of course. I just want harmony. As far as 7, I get that. How many can I fit in my driveway, you see?
The driveway on the east side looked to me like it was, I thought that you could probably pretty easily get 10 or 12 cars in there.
Oh, God, no, it's not that bad.
That big, it's a double wide that goes all the way back to that big garage in the back.
No, we have, my
got
husband
a-
likes
you
to
got a
play with his
utility trailer.
cars. So, yeah, we have a couple of trailers and what there
Well,
for him.
I think, yeah, that looked like a viable
Okay.
way to get traffic off the street, but
But yeah, I understand traffic on the street, if that's a problem, by all means, we need to park them on the driveway. And, I don't know, on a.
Is this your principal income?
No,
Okay.
no. It will be soon. Yeah, it will be. I've been a hairstylist for 40 years, and that's about over with. So this is a nice thing for me. It's helped me physically and emotionally, and others as well. If you can quiet your mind and just feel at peace within. Yes, sir.
So in the past, you had some code enforcement issues where someone from the neighborhood had complained,
Yeah, about the cars or.
or drums, and I think it
Yeah,
was drums specifically.
Yeah, I sent a letter out to the neighbors saying that we were going to have this outdoors, and my intentions were good, of course, because we've had other neighbors that also did send out letters, we're having this event, could you kind of keep it down from here to here on this time or that time? Sure, if I can, why not,
So was that a one-time thing that you did outdoors, or?
This last summer, we did it 3 times. I sure did. I had our pool redone. It's awesome. And this way, if we could meditate in the pool while you're floating around and you have these beautiful sounds, oh, heck yeah. And my husband and I said, it's way too much work. And we don't want to do that one again. So that's actually off the table. What I'm asking for is meditation classes or some training one-on-one, teach others how to do this work as well. Keep it indoors so it is quiet and not offend any of the neighbors. Yeah, for sure.
So when you were asked by code enforcement to stop, you did stop then? And
Pardon me?
when you were asked by code enforcement to stop the activity, you did
Code
stop?
enforcement to stop? I don't know what that means.
Oh, well, there was a complaint from a neighbor. Was there a code enforcement?
You were given a citation to stop, am I correct? From code enforcement?
I don't know that I was given a code to stop.
So as part of what prompted the HOP is you were notified of a violation of the development code that you were operating a business without.
That I
a
needed to come down and talk to you
Yeah,
guys and
and
fill
so
out
he's
that.
asking, when you received that notice, did you no longer continue the operation at your house until this was done?
Yeah, I did mess up. I had something advertised out there, and one client did call. And I said, we are only allowed to have 7. You have to park on the driveway. After I filled out the paperwork with you guys and then the phone call and I did the electronic signature, I thought we were good to go. But it didn't happen, but I understand it was still out there being advertised, yes, but it didn't happen. So, yeah, I pulled everything. Heck yeah, I want this to go well. I'm not out to cause any problems. I definitely want harmony here. So once I realized, now wait a minute, I thought we were good. What's wrong? You see, I questioned it and pulled out the paperwork. Something's not right. And yeah, then I thought, well, maybe you guys are the one I need to talk to before I can actually move forward doing anything. I thought the rules were good and I was complying, you see. But I'm sorry, yeah.
Yes, they have to issue a home occupational permit before you can continue.
Yeah. So like I said, once I got that, I thought, what is this about? I don't understand.
What's your normal sound that you produce? What do you normally use? You had drums outdoors, but
I had drums outdoors, yeah.
you have inside.
Singing bowls, are you familiar?
Uh-huh.
Oh, they're beautiful. You play them and they're just soothing and it affects your nervous systems. You can measure it scientifically.
So it's nothing amplified
No.
and you're not using
I might
drums
sing,
or-
you know that. Be careful there, But no, it's just,
Yeah.
it's really beautiful.
yeah,
So inside, if you're standing at the street,
Inside.
you wouldn't be able to hear it.
No, sir. And everybody there's, they just lay down on the floor and get nice and comfy and relax and go into a dream state. Yeah.
And I think the noise is only one factor. From what in looking at it, I think the parking was an issue and
Yeah.
the traffic, the amount of traffic was an issue in a normally quiet residential street.
Right.
So,
But if they're only requiring 7 a week, again, how you gonna
So is it a group type thing, or is it one-on-one, or?
It's a group type thing, yeah.
So you would have 7 guests at one time?
Yeah, that would be nice. And not every week. Like I said, I don't want to do it every week. No, it's too much.
Uh-huh. And how many hours does a session
An hour and a
go on?
half, maybe max by the time they get there and leave. Yeah.
Okay. And
I'll
what
play
time do you
for 30,
normally have
40 minutes.
these?
Around 11. I'm not a real early person, so.
11 in
maybe
the morning?
11. Yes.
Okay.
So 11 to 12, they're gone by 12:30 maybe. Yeah.
My comment would be is, as much as I love what this sounds like,
Yeah.
no pun intended,
You should-
that it's gonna be, and I'd like you to provide the service to people that probably desperately need it to relax and soothe. I mean,
Yes.
probably this whole commission needs to go and relax
brought my balls in,
and
huh?
test it out. I'd like to see you succeed in that, but then our job is to balance the interest of the neighbors and the neighborhood and set a standard of what we can and cannot do in our neighborhoods.
Okay.
So how would you feel if we gave you the opportunity to explore other places that gives you the opportunity that you can probably grow your business and advertise it, so you're not limited by that 7 clients a week or twice a week, or neighbors always looking at your house, seeing what sounds are coming from your house, putting some devices like FBI satellites kind of thing on what's the level of vibration so they can make a complaint. Would you be willing to take that opportunity to explore other locations so you can give your business an opportunity to grow without limits that would be within a neighborhood?
Absolutely, I'd love that. At the
Okay.
same time, I still prefer one Saturday a month in my home. That I'd love, so I can not have to take my equipment with me. But I'm always open to other places, yes.
So you're saying you'd like to have one Saturday a month
That'd be awesome.
to be done at your home?
Sure.
And I mean, considering the complaints here, one Saturday a month is like, we throw parties in our house and we have music, on the weekends. What are the limitations of the times? Is it gonna be in the afternoon? Is it gonna be when someone taking a nap? What are the times that you can set a parameter for?
I said 11. If we start at 11, we're done by 12,
11 in the morning
12:30.
until 12:30,
Yeah.
1 o'clock. So
Exactly.
So 11 in the morning until 12:30 in the afternoon?
Yes, sir.
But on the conditions of approval that we have from staff, number 4, as we were alluded to earlier, the number of clients shall not exceed 7 per week. So in
7
the
people.
scenario you're giving, Chris, she could have 7 people there every Saturday.
And
Am
I
I
don't
right?
really care for that. No, that was very generous.
But that's
I thought
what
that was
I'm looking
nice.
at that number. Was that the intent of that?
7 clients.
It was to establish kind of a limit as part of the cottage industry does reference sometimes 7 clients. And so certainly within the discretion of the planning commission, they can weigh
so-
in on if it's 7 as part of a once a month activity, that could certainly be conditioned if the applicant is agreeable to that as well.
So Margaret, let me ask you this.
Yes,
and,
sir.
and we appreciate your cooperation. You sound and look like a very peaceful lady, so we want to keep this peaceful for you as well.
Thank you.
Would you be willing to consider and try out a trial period for the next 3 to 6 months of one event per month on a Saturday, maximum 5 clients?
5 clients, sure.
I know that's what they're requesting, but we can modify that to once a month,
Okay,
one Saturday a month.
okay.
That's probably preset, so you can do the last Saturday this month and the first Saturday next month, so it's not Saturday after
Oh, I see what
Saturday.
you're saying, yeah.
So you'll say, for example, the first Saturday of every month, you're gonna have up to 5 clients.
Okay,
And these are paid clients, they're not family and friends?
right.
Okay, so I don't know if we have any restriction or limitation if you wanted to do it yourself with family and friends or however. I don't know how we're gonna regulate that.
Right.
But as far as you running a business from your home, we can allow, I'd recommend something, if you're okay with, once a month, up to 5 clients, a preset Saturday.
Okay, well.
Chris, I appreciate your collegiality, Chris, but I really don't appreciate, again, creating this, putting the planning commission into a pretzel to make this work. I think it's clear, you look, and I come back to what I said a couple months ago, you look at what the restrictions are, you look at what the application is, you decide, do they fit? This clearly does not fit. And I don't think, and I come back to the fact that we can go around the edges and we can do this and we can all feel good and we can look good. And no, there is a point of standardization that needs to be met. And I know in your profession, you like to try and put square peg in a round hole. That's not what we're here to do. So I just want to go on record as saying, I reject that idea.
Okay.
And it doesn't make a bit of difference because until we vote, it won't matter. But I want the rest of the commissioners to know that there is a feeling of resistance to this kind of thought. I think it's foolishness.
Well, and
Simple.
I'll go on the other side of it, actually.
Okay.
I hate micromanaging people and what they do in their lives and what time they spend doing whatever. Like Chris says, you know, people have parties every weekend that go till 10 o'clock at night. And I don't like the overregulation of stuff. We approved not too long ago an operation for a kennel, basically for, you know, raising dogs to sell.
But
there's
do
a
you remember
sound-
where that was located?
Well,
That was about 100 feet from I-10. It was right, it was looking at the freeway.
But also has a neighbor on both sides. And you're gonna listen, you know, potentially to dogs barking, you know,
Yeah.
throughout the night. And we didn't deny that. And so this is something to me that's contained within your house, and as long as the sound isn't protruding outside of it, and if they can park in the driveway, which staff is saying there's enough parking, you know, it's better than the taco guy on County Line Road that's selling out of his driveway with flashing lights, you know, and
Okay, let's,
Yeah.
Aaron, you have something kind of weigh in here?
I do. I don't understand why we're voting on this. I don't think we have the legal ability to vote on this. We have daycares in the city, we don't vote on those. We have these dog kennels in the city, we don't vote on those. In the 6 years I've been here, we've never voted on anything like this before. So my concern is, are we overstepping our bounds as a planning commission? We're not, we've never been asked to approve a permit before. And
When we're talking, Ben, are we actually, what are we're not approving a permit. Are we giving you a recommendation?
No, so the home occupation permit is something that the planning commission can approve. There have been a few others that have gone before. The home occupation permit, however, is normally approved at the staff level. So normally that approval authority is delegated to me as the city planner to do so. However, pursuant to the city's development code and procedures is that any decision-making activity can be bumped up to the next regulatory body. So in terms of a staff level approval, the next level or appealable is to the planning commission, and then certainly any planning commission approval or denial can be appealed or bumped up to the city council. Because this project had generated a number of concerns and comments, we had chosen to take this to the planning commission so that all parties can see what the conditions are, see what the concerns are, and voice those elements so that a transparent manner is taken as part of the approval process. What I didn't want to have happen is write these conditions, approve the project or deny it, and all the neighbors go, did staff listen to us? Did what happened? You know, is this something that was my concerns addressed? And we have, through the conditions, tried to develop, and certainly with the applicant agreeing, to address those concerns, but wanted to make sure that those neighbors that were interested to know what happens, did their concerns get listened to? was voiced in a public forum, which is the public hearing process conducted by the Plan Commission. So the Plan Commission does have the authority, and the whole purpose was to make sure that any decision made was open and transparent for those concerned neighbors.
So that's for any permit then? So this could come to us again if somebody wants to run a daycare out of their home. You could theoretically come to us for that decision.
The large family daycare, yes. Small family daycare itself is considered a single family use for zoning purposes, so I don't have any discretion on that as well. But certainly anything that is at staff level that requires some sort of approval and application can be bumped up to Plan Commission. Or alternatively, let's say if I denied or approved the project, any interested party could certainly appeal that decision as well and bring it back to the Plan Commission. Rather than having the neighbors pay the money for an appeal of a decision, we wanted to just provide it at a public forum for that deliberation.
And how many, generally, if you know, residential businesses do we have in our city? Of all the various kinds, just a number.
So it kind of ranges. We do have, as a home-based office, they don't trigger the HOP. So if you're just like, hey, I'm doing graphic design, I don't have clients come to, doesn't trigger that. But in terms of HOP applications, we probably get between 5 and 15 a year, depending on the scale. It could be woodworking. Some may be tax preparation services where they do have clients come to their residence and something of that nature. There have been a few other HOPs that have come to a Plan Commission and one to the City Council. One was for a psychic office that was ultimately approved at the City Council level, and the other one was for a Bible study that had tour buses dropping people off, and the Plan Commission had denied that particular application because tour buses aren't typically found in residences. But it is, this is unique, but certainly with the number of comments, we wanted to make sure that all parties that wanted to have their voices heard had the opportunity to do so, and at least a recognition of conditions or at least amendable elements from the applicant to respond to those concerns and hopefully make amends on their business if it does get approved and move forward.
And how long, so you talked about 5 to 15 per year applicants. Are these permanent? These permits, are they good for 30 years, 50 years, 100 years, as long as they own the home? Are they good yearly? Do they have to reapply every single year? If she sells the home, does the permit stay with the home and go to the new homeowners? What is?
No, specific for that applicant and that resident. So we've had, let's say, for example, home occupation permit for a resident. They moved to another location, then we have them go through the process again, specific for that residence to make sure that the configuration of their lot is able to support that business and that the neighbors are apprised of those operations. But it does stay there. So we've had a few different home occupation permits where, let's say, people do bookkeeping services and they don't have a lot of traffic, but it's a consistent business that they could run, through retirement. And some are smaller scale. They do wood shopping, and then maybe they decide to migrate into a larger facility based on the client services that they have. And if they're able to grow it, then they mature out of the home-based office and into a larger facility.
Do they have to, how often do they have to reapply?
They do not have to reapply. The only thing that they are required to do is maintain their business license with the city, and so they would update that annually, but there would be no new home occupation permit.
So it's yearly. I think we discussed on the kennel that if there were any complaints from the neighbors during the year, then there'd be a review before the license was reissued. Is that right?
Yeah, and the kennels are a little bit unique in, as part of the special use permit, there is an annual review that they turn in. The Plan Commission could certainly have a similar condition to that where in a year they submit a renewal request and we can just assess if there was any complaints received, if the Plan Commission would like to have that follow through. So there's certainly that precedent to be able to do something like that, but normally the annual review is more tailored to like the animal keeping where some of those impacts, if they're not managing a tight ship for those operations could create greater nuisances.
This is kind of a similar operation, in my opinion, is if there's any problems, that annual review keeps your business on the right track because
Right.
you don't want to have a complaint from a neighbor.
I agree.
So let's say she gets the permit to do this. and the city's still getting complaints. What is the city able to do?
So it would go back to code enforcement. If they are violating that, then they would be cited through that process. And if it isn't remedied, then we could go through the formal revocation process of the approval and the planning commission to take away that approval for the operation too. So that is something that the planning commission always has the ability to do, is through a public hearing say, hey, you have not met the performance stuff. You've been consistently in code enforcement for not following the conditions. And so we're gonna take away this entitlement for the property to use this home-based business.
Well, let me throw a scenario out there. So she's running a home business. So if she had just a bunch of friends coming over during the week, on the weekends, she has a bunch of friends come over and they do their thing with the bowls and that, you know, but I mean, it's not a business. She has friends coming over. We can't say, oh, you can't have company every Saturday or whatever. I mean, there wouldn't be any stopping, but the difference is we're saying she's operating a business and she's getting paid for it. But if then on the other side of that coin, if she says, no, these are just friends getting together,
So some of it does come down to, we do verify people are running a business. Some may say, oh, I'm not running a business, and certainly there may be evidence otherwise. Some of the provisions, so let's say hypothetically in the scenario you presented, they were generating excessive noise and other related impacts. The development code provisions and municipal code could still be citations issued. There just wouldn't be a remedy for that other than you're not supposed to do that. And then through the code enforcement, the citation process, and then liens placed on the property and everything like that related to code enforcement. But that would apply in either scenario if it was or was not a business.
Okay, we haven't heard from Bart. Bart, yeah, something you want to?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Actually, some of the issues I had thought about were
We
covered.
have to answer a question.
One was the type of sound, and I think you responded to Commissioner Hicks on that. So drums are not a normal part of the indoor.
Just outside. Sorry. No, we won't take that out again.
And the sound level would be what, similar to what you'd play
You
a
wouldn't hear it if
radio
you were
or?
standing outside. I don't know how to
in the
measure it.
house.
Pardon me?
In the house, the sound level.
Oh, it's beautiful.
But
I
I mean,
don't know how to measure this.
how loud is it?
I don't know. It isn't ear piercing. No, people are falling asleep.
And I guess that was my reaction. Meditation and loud sounds don't
Meditation.
seem to go together.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. This one is for staff. There is no time limit on this. I think you established that, right? But you talked about an annual review. Is that possible under our code?
Yeah, so as part of, there was precedent in terms of our special use permit provisions to have an annual review. There have been occasions in the past where we've applied that condition for other projects just as is a unique circumstance and wanting to see how everything transpires, and if there is issues, be able to make course corrections as appropriate. And so there is that avenue available. If the planning commission chooses to execute that, we can provide an appropriate condition that would have a follow-through next year.
To get a special use permit?
It would still be under the HOP, but we would apply the same provisions or the same mechanism in place for the annual review.
In another jurisdiction I'm acquainted with, they have for controversial type uses. The approval is good, and then you've got to reapply or the approval ends, and then you have to re-up for the next period of review. In our case, though, it would just be a review, right? We'd have to go through the revocation process under our code.
That is correct.
So once they get it, and Ms. McKnight has it on this property, it's basically perpetual to her and her residence there.
That is correct.
All right. Thank you.
Does anyone else have any questions for the applicant? Okay, thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, we have no public comments?
No public comments on this item. I did do want to note one of the respondents did ask for a copy of the conditions, and I did provide them a copy of the draft conditions, and they seemed to be okay with it as well. So I did want to at least provide that background for the commissioner.
Okay, with,
How many comments were there? I'm sorry.
you have them in the back.
How many total was it?
I think it was 3 separate residences.
3 separate residents? And then were they notified of this meeting tonight?
Yes, they were.
And they were all 3 against it?
They had concerns,
Go up.
but I think with maybe perhaps the conditions that were developed, I can't speak for them, but certainly they were aware of some of the changes that were proposed with that as part of entering into tonight's meeting.
It looks like 3 of them are in one household.
5 letters here in my packet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but 3 of them are with the same household, same family.
Okay, with that, we'll close the public hearing portion of it and then move to the commissioners for comments. Before we get at I just gotta say one thing is, you know, we're in a country here that we are innocent till proven guilty. And if we give somebody conditions to meet, we anticipate that they're going to honor those conditions, okay? And then for us to say, well, she's not going to honor those conditions, well, we don't know that. I mean, we have to agree or feel within the law that she's going to abide by these. And that's why we have a constitution. That's why is until we find somebody guilty, then I guess they're innocent. So that's my only take on this.
Mr. Chairman, I appreciate that because I was starting to have some doubts with what's going on in our country now. But yes, I like that theory and the principle of, you know, allowing you the enjoyment of your home without being a disturbance to others. And I think that's the balancing act that I have to, as a planning commissioner, balance with those interests. Considering if I were your next door neighbor, and I'd also want to place myself in your shoes if I wanted to do something like that from my home. I'm an attorney, so I don't know if my clients would be making a lot of noise and harmony. There's not a lot of harmony when there's attorney clients. But to Mr. Rickstead's point, Commissioner Rickstead's point, is I don't want us to get so far out of our way to accommodate this or any other businesses and put a daunting task on our code enforcement that are already spread thin and create an environment in your neighborhood or any other neighborhood in this town that is kind of neighbor tell on neighbor kind of neighborhood. So with that, and I appreciate the applicant's willingness to greatly modify this to once a month, limit it to 5, and if her business grows to more than that, then either she can come back and ask for another opportunity for more, or if a neighbor comes and complains, we can examine it later on. But I think I'd like to see her not only live in peace, but spread peace through whatever means it takes without disturbing any other neighbors, which is why I'm willing to modify at least the number 4 to make it a limit once a month event for up to 5 clients. And like Chairman Allgauer said, that does not limit you from enjoying it yourself every day or having friends and family come without paying. So I'm not trying to give you all the gray area here, but for the purposes of you running a business, if we could start in a healthy once a month, 5 clients per that Saturday, 11 to 12:30, I think it will be an exploratory kind of a period for your business.
Question for staff on that. Can staff change, if it's an approval at the planning commission, can staff change the conditions later on? Or does it have to come back to the approving authority?
You'll have to come back to the approving authority.
And is there a cost for that?
There is, with the HOP application and let's say a conditional use permit where the fees will be higher, I'm not sure if there will be an applicable cost, so I may have to, there is a spot in our development code where we can apply something that makes sense, given the scale and intensity of it, that we'll have to follow pursuant to our user fee study, but there will be a cost associated with it.
Like $10 million.
I'll just say, staff prepared some conditions. They were distributed to the respondents, the neighbors that had complained. They had an opportunity to come tonight if they still had a problem to express, their concern, and none of them showed up. So again, I don't think this is out of line what she's asking. She's agreed not to do any outdoor operations, no drums outdoors. And I don't see this any different than approving Suveg for a winery operation in his backyard and the cars that he has parking. There were a number of days set for that. And if anything, there's more noise developed outside in those type of operations than this, where she's doing it indoors and it's meditation. So I just don't like the overregulation of stuff. I think this is more than reasonable what the staff has asked for. And if we just ask for it to be reviewed every year and have the opportunity to withdraw the conditions of approval if she doesn't follow the conditions set forth, and if there's, complaints from the neighbors, then I just personally, I don't have a problem with it, and I think it should be approved the way it is.
Yeah, I hear Chairman Allgauer's appeal for innocence unless proven guilty, and I didn't mean to imply guilt, or it's not a guilt or innocence thing. But when I read that the applicant has requested that there be no children laughing, no children shouting, no outdoor noise, keep your dogs in the house, that is that's more restrictive than what I want in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not for that.
Yeah.
And that does not lend to a degree of livability within a neighborhood. So that's what prompted me to say, I think the community center is a wonderful place to have this, and I understand that there are limitations with that, but I think it's consistent with what the community of Yucaipa is, with what the community of Yucaipa is expecting and what they're really comfortable with. That's my feeling.
Yeah, it's just that's not one of the conditions that the staff's not requiring the neighbors.
No, but she is.
Well, she's asking, or apparently
Well,
is
yeah,
asking.
yeah.
But you can't, you understand you can't ask that of your neighbors too.
That,
Go ahead. No, it's
is number 7, is that,
So number 7 was developed to address that concern. So I think when they were running the outdoor operation, there was that request. And so certainly that would be, in terms of the residential character, having that sort of request would be out of bounds for what a normal residence has. And so that's why condition number 7 is there, is that if they do make that request, that's not something that's permissible, because it would alter kind of the normal peaceful enjoyment of the residences for all the neighbors.
That's what I understood it to be.
Okay.
You can't make a request like that. And that's probably what upset your neighbors to begin with.
Understandably,
Yeah, it would have me, definitely,
I'd say.
okay, commissioners?
I have one more thing. So, do you understand that this is a maximum of 7 clients per week? Yes. Not, so when you talked about, I would love to have 7 in one day or one session, that's it for the whole week.
But what if you do one session with 7 people?
Well, and that's
Is that
what she-
okay?
But that's what she said, she wants to do that. Right. So, that my concern is,
But where are they gonna park then?
well,
In the
I want to
driveway,
make sure she understands.
I-
She can't do this every day of the week.
well, she can
If she does
did
one a day.
one a day.
Right.
Which is why I think her willingness to accommodate the tryout period of 5 maximum once a month is something that is balancing both. I know you don't like that, Commissioner Rickstead, but we are here to do that balancing act. And I know the black letter law speaks in a certain way, but there's a lot of gray area because you don't want to limit this. Look at how peaceful this lady looks. oh, she wants some harmony in her home and some clients. And like it was compared to a wood shop. A wood shop makes a lot more noise, and we don't limit wood shops in hours and how many clients and projects they can take, or someone who is doing car repairs and they're working with pneumatic tools with air compressors. We don't limit their noise, and
Yeah, but you got staff that recommended, put this together, recommended 7 a week, and that's approximately what, 428 clients a month?
yeah, so if she did one
And
a
now
day,
you want to limit it to 5.
what I'm saying, well, I want to limit it to 5 because I want to also address the neighbors that are gonna start, revolting against this poor lady if she did 28 clients a
Neighbors,
month.
all the neighbors got this.
Well, it's the same music for 7 as it is for 5.
That's right, or
So the
one.
only difference is the parking. And can you accommodate, in the driveway, and my question then would be, oh, I'm sorry, that guy's waving at me again back there. Push the button. My only question would be, is parking is only in the driveway or immediately in front of the house also?
So with the 7 kind of per week, so if, let's say hypothetically, there was one class on a Saturday with the 7 guests, based on the capacity for her 2 different driveway locations, plus any frontage in front of her house, she would be able to accommodate 7 vehicles within that space. So the part of that was designed to be realistic, that would be a capacity without interfering with the neighbors, having cars parked up and down the street.
So can we at least add some specific language and modify number 4 to say 1 event per week, up to 7? She's okay with that. I was gonna modify it once a month, and she was okay with that. But if you're saying you wanna modify it for once a week, that means every Saturday at 11, she could have an event.
Well, I don't, personally, I don't have a problem with however she wants to do it, as long as she doesn't bother the neighbors.
Yeah.
I mean, that's me personally.
Well, I'm saying but to modify number 4, because there's no language there to limit her from having one person every day for 28 days of the month.
Right.
So if we could modify number 4, and that would be my recommendation, is to modify number 4 to say once a week, up to 7 clients per event.
And I think are you fine with?
Yeah, she's saying okay to the 1 month. So the 1 week is a,
She wants 1 to 2 Saturdays a month, is what she said.
yeah.
She
So
wants-
that's,
Give her 4. She can do what she wants.
so she can have up to every Saturday of the month is what you're recommending. I mean, I think the middle ground would be to do 2 Saturdays a month, preset, so the neighbors know it's not every Saturday. Whatever that inconvenience may be from traffic or noise or whatever, they know that it's the first and third Saturday. Her home is gonna have up to 7 people coming and doing this
It's
therapeutic
from
thing.
11 till 1:30 or 2, during the day, so, and
But that doesn't say that.
It doesn't say that, so I would like to add
Oh,
that.
oh, Chris, Lloyd, go ahead.
We need to add that.
I think there was one, for sure, one letter, maybe a couple of them said that they were in 6-hour segments. So it could conceivably go longer than 1 to 2 hours.
well, we can put a condition on that.
Yeah,
but
so-
Again, I hate regulating things to the
I
point
know,
where.
I'm not a big, heavy, come down hard on people either.
All right.
But I want to maintain the standard livability of our community.
They can see where it goes.
All right, so, Chairman, if you'd like, I think I may have a motion, unless there's other discussion.
I'll make your motion.
What time?
Yes, so I would like to modify I make a motion that we recommend approval with the 17 conditions of approval, with the modification of number 4 to limit 2 events per month at a preset Saturday from 11 a.m. up to 2 p.m. and up to 7 maximum clients.
Does that work for you?
Well, you can choose up to 2 Saturdays a month.
Okay, let's,
Yeah, up to 2 Saturdays a month that you choose. And from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. is your 3-hour window and maximum 7 people.
May I extend the hours? Say every other month, if I have training, may I extend those hours to 6 hours?
So
Well,
that-
let's see where this motion, you want to bring it back up? Could,
Well, I'll withdraw the motion. Let me just hear you out. So we're doing
okay, then I
something.
reopen the
Okay.
public comments and go ahead and address
Okay.
it.
One meditation, that's it for the month. And that runs an hour, maybe hour and a half. Every other month or so, whatever I can do, if I can train, that would be wonderful. 6 hours, maybe, yeah, maybe 6, 7 hours. Any more than that's too much.
So you want to train others to do this,
Yes.
and you want up to 6 to 7 hours once a month?
Once a month, yeah, I'll go for once a month, because then if I only do it every other month or every third month, I'm not in violation.
I think to make it easy for us and for her, 2 Saturdays a month, and this is your 6-hour window. She's to do it.
I just think if you start putting it specific Saturdays, first and
Can't do
third,
that.
then that, again, back to what you said about, you have problems with neighbors.
Right.
You know, complaining and policing, and as long as it's not an issue,
Chris said 2 Saturdays. He didn't say the
Right.
first and third.
but.
Yeah,
the-
no, I
the-
I didn't specify which Saturdays. I said just 2 Saturdays,
It's just the hours now. That's
the
coming.
hours.
The hours
So
now?
we'll
Yeah.
limit up to 6 hours
Okay,
max per
Okay.
session. So you could do 1 hour, 1.5 hour, 2 hours,
Yeah.
but don't go all, 12 hours the Saturday that you're gonna have.
it's too much.
So we'll modify it to say twice a month, up to twice a month. You don't have to have them at all. But you're allowed to, what we were gonna recommend is twice a month,
Yes, sir,
up to 6 hours max,
okay.
and up to 7 clients per event.
Beautiful, golden.
What hours?
We're not gonna specify hours. You can choose any 6 hours
Well,
within
you don't want it at 11 o'clock at night, you know.
Oh,
What hours work for you? When do you run your
I want
business?
normal
I
working
like to start
hours.
11, yeah.
11
In the
a.m.?
morning, yes,
All right.
sir.
So
So-
11 to 5,
Pardon me?
11 till 5?
That's great,
All right,
sure.
here we go.
Okay, with that, anybody, you got any other questions?
The
for
only
Chris?
other thing is, I know I heard some commissioners ask and throw around the idea of an annual review.
Yes, I would like that.
That's,
So that's item number 16. I'd like to modify 4 and 16. That was all for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, so
with that,
I'd like
okay,
to
with
make-
that, well, hang on. With that, we'll, again, close the public hearing, and we go back to the commissioners. You have a motion on the
I have a
table.
motion.
Okay, you want to clarify your
Yes,
motion?
I have a motion on item number 4, that we approve a home occupation permit for case number 21-199 /HOP,
P.
and with the 17 conditional, 17 conditions of approval, with the modification of number 4 to limit up to 2 events a month,
Saturdays.
2 Saturdays a month, up to 7 clients per event, only between 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. And then to modify number 16 and add a requirement for an annual renewal.
Okay, we got a motion.
I second the motion.
We have a second. With that, do we have any other discussions?
Yeah, I just want to make sure staff's okay with the annual renewal. Is it annual review or is it, what's permissible under our code?
I think it's written as an annual renewal, so they'll turn in an update, but it's a reduced fee application. And then we go through to see how things have been progressing, see if there was any complaints received through code enforcement, and then from there issue an approval.
And so that's a cost to the applicant every year.
That is correct.
Any way we can waive that cost?
I don't think we have the power to
I
do
mean,
that.
I'm trying to stretch how much power do we have here?
No, we don't have enough.
If
That's
she
all of
wa-
our
If she wants to
jurisdiction.
continue to run her business, she'll apply for it.
Yeah.
I think so.
Let's
All right.
We have any other
go with
discussion?
this.
Just to clarify, so a year from now, we're wondering what we agreed to. Does it lapse at the end of a year and she's got to re-up?
Yep.
Or is it, she just pays her fee and if there's no complaints, this is a staff renewal?
That is correct. So it's the latter. So if they provide the fee, we check everything. As long as there's no issues, then we issue the continuation of that approval. So it will not go back to planning commission unless there are significant issues where revocation of the approval is warranted.
Thank you.
Love it.
I second it.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, can I ask for a roll call on this one, please?
I think all in favor.
This is what we're doing.
Commissioner Wolf,
Yes.
Commissioner Reckstad,
No.
Commissioner Hicks,
Yes.
Commissioner Brzee,
Yes.
Commissioner Beck, Vice Chair Markarian,
Yes.
Chair Algauer.
No. So it's 4-2. You got the terms on that now, Ben?
Yep, so we will finalize the conditions based on the motion provided by Vice Chair Markarian and the motion
Good.
approved.
Enjoy and spread peace. We need it.
With that, we have no other hearings. I do have whatever happened with the League of City, where are we at on that, you know?
So the League of City, the Plan Commissioners Academy is in mid-March. So if there are interests, we can try to do that. The only thing I don't know is kind of with the COVID issues and the city policy, how that will translate and kind of what the expectation is. But if there are commissioners are interested, we can certainly try to arrange for that. San Ramon. Yeah.
Is it virtual?
Northern California.
I haven't seen anything. I did get an email from the League of Cities, but I wasn't able to see
closer to the
what
coast.
exactly modifications that they may be doing and kind of what to expect. I do know that there is the City Managers Conference this week through the League of Cities, and that's in person, so they may be the same. But if there is an interest, please reach out to us so that we can try to move that. But it is.
I am interested as well. I think it was a great opportunity for me when I first got on the planning commission to go, and there's a lot of networking. There's a lot of good resources that we were introduced to. So I'm interested again to go if we can drag JR with us again.
Yeah, there we go again.
Let's do it.
It is supposed to be in person. One thing to note when I did read through the stuff is you do have to provide proof of vaccination for the conference and then a negative COVID test prior to that. I don't know if it will change. Certainly with COVID, the past 2 years have always been kind of bumpy, but
Did you say proof of vaccination and negative?
Yep.
Or either or?
both.
Can Chris email us with the details and then we can
Well,
email
that
you guys
puts
back
me
and
on.
tell you?
No longer interested.
I'm not interested anymore.
No.
That takes that down the drain.
Count me out.
Chris, you email us, here's the information, here's
Man,
what's
that
required,
sucks.
and then we can let you know if we're interested or not.
We have any other issues to deal with tonight?
No, that is.
No, I think don't we have to re-elect every year?
Chairman?
Oh yeah, it is.
Yes,
Since
it
is
is.
the start of the year.
The first meeting of the year.
Yeah, so it is. So we will have that scheduled for the next meeting to the appointment of officers. We will have a meeting in not the second meeting of February, but on March 2nd, we will have a meeting. So we'll have that on the agenda then.
On March 2nd, we'll have that on the agenda. I just want to make sure we get that on there.
Does anybody want a different position while we're here?
I'll run for it.
You just want to do nominations now?
It needs to be on the agenda unless there is pretty much a unanimous vote to add it on. But we can put it on since it's already 2022. It slipped our mind. So this year's already progressing through. But we can put it on the next meeting and knock that out pretty early.
Yeah, I don't know if you just want to wait and do, we can't waive that and do it right here?
No.
Yeah, see, I'm wondering, I got some of my commissioners aren't gonna be here. And I don't know if I can make it March 2nd.
Yeah, I would say we can postpone it to March 2nd, and then the Plan Commission can vote to postpone it to the following meeting to have everyone here.
Or have them virtually appear, telephonically appear maybe, just for the vote?
We can explore that, the availability of perhaps doing a call-in. And I think perhaps if you do know you're not gonna be here, I don't know if it's just Commissioner Wolf, if you're the one that won't be here, but please let us know. We do have some projects that are eager to get to Planning Commission, so we just wanna make sure we have a quorum for that meeting.
Okay?
All right,
With
motion to
that,
adjourn.
We adjourn.
Thank you.
Wow.
That was great.
You know what? I just didn't like.